Aw,
I feel famous.
What's your name and where you from?
I'm Steph Sparrow, and I'm the owner of Roses and Rivets in Santa Paula, California.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long you been tattooing for?
17 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration to get started?
It was my mentor. His name was Stephen Mast, and he worked at Avalon Tattoo in Pacific Beach, San Diego. I met him in 2001
Nice.
and started getting heavily tattooed at that time. 2005, I got a job teaching full-time at a college.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I finished my PhD that year, started teaching, immediately knew academia wasn't for me. So I begged Steve to apprentice me, and for 2 straight years, he kept sending me away.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've asked him, I was the only apprentice he ever had, he's retired now.
Yeah.
Only apprentice he ever had, and I asked, why didn't you finally take me on? And he said, because I knew you would never, ever go away.
Oh, wow.
So here I am 17 years later. I actually just had a message from him on my phone, and we're still good friends. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he kept turning you away until you just kept, showing that you were determined and super resilient and that you weren't going to take no for an answer.
Exactly. And that's always, when I get apprentices hitting me up, potential apprentices that don't know anything about the shop portfolio or the shop or anything like that, just send you a DM on Instagram and I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more than that.
So let me ask you this. If somebody wanted to be an apprentice, what are like the proper things that they would need to show you or things that they would need to do in order for you to even consider them?
You gotta go get tattooed. You've gotta save your money, go get tattooed by a bunch of different people, form a relationship with someone. Because that's the most important part, is having that important mentor-mentee relationship. And for me, it's been a lifetime. So he's like family to me. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. How do you feel about, people that are quote unquote self-taught as opposed to going to an apprenticeship school or being an apprentice in a really respectable shop? What do you think about self-taught versus an apprenticeship?
I think self-taught is really dangerous, to be perfectly honest, because there's so many things that we have to deal with in terms of sanitation. And we're in this land of YouTube and social media, but most of us that have learned from someone else, you don't necessarily put trade secrets online, and we're very protective. And it's not to be gatekeepers, but this is a lifetime thing. And hepatitis C is super common, right? And so we want to teach people the good practices. So I think it's super, super important to have a proper apprenticeship and a proper mentor. And it's not to dissuade people from going out and trying, as much as they can, but don't buy the kit off Amazon. Just don't do it. Yeah, go get tattooed, save your money, meet people, and somebody's going to give you a chance if you're just persistent. I mean, I was a 27-year-old PhD college professor,
Wow.
and I made that shift. So, yeah.
And now you've been doing it 17 years and own your own shop.
Yeah, I've actually owned 2 shops. I'm on my 2nd shop. I owned a shop before on the East Coast. Yeah.
Wow. So, one last thing. Is there a particular, machine that you prefer? Is there a particular style that you prefer? Like, what are some of your personal, favorites?
Okay, so for me, one of my things is everything is always going to have black line work. Because it doesn't matter how good you are, okay, color is all going to fade in time. It's made in a different way than black ink. Got to have the black lines to hold things in place. Okay, that's the foundation of any tattoo. I love all color, no outline stuff, and it's no shade on anybody that does it. But I had a guy in here yesterday with sleeves that were 50 years old from Cliff Raven. And the sleeves looked fantastic. What was left? Black line work, the grayscale shading. I've got pictures of it, it's fantastic. But in terms of machines, there's a lot of controversy about using rotary pens versus coils.
Yeah.
I think it's super important to learn on coils because it teaches you the sensitivity to the skin and the proper depth. And I've noticed with a lot of apprentices that start out on pens, they push way too hard. And I exclusively do fine line and single needle.
Okay.
So if you push it all, you're going to blow a line out, right? So For me, I think coils are really important, but I learned on coils and I use both.
Okay.
So I do tattoo actually a lot of women, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Wow.
And there's a lot of myths about you're too old to get tattooed. You're never too old, just use a soft coil.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Absolutely incredible. Wow, you're amazing. Where can it be? Are you on social media? Where can they find you at?
yeah, I'm at Roses and Rivets 805. So, and it's rosesandrivets805.com on the web. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good to meet you guys. Just shouting out Tatted World TV. Thanks for being here.
Tatted World TV.